What up, people? Welcome to the Doing Everything Different podcast. I'm your host, Devin Lars, and today's word is intention. I just got done recording an episode with Dwight White II, and it was super dope to have a conversation with him, hear his journey, hear the things that he's learned. And he was talking about, setting intention as being intentional this year. And so it just had me thinking around, how important that is to set an intention for your life and not so much worry about the details of how it's going to happen and how everything is going to come into place. When I look back at all the successes that I've had, going through the ups and downs and everything like that, I didn't know how they were going to work out, how the details were going to be and how it was all going to fall into place. But I was very clear on setting an intention in terms of what I wanted to accomplish. And I kind of let the details work themselves out, because sometimes you aren't in control of the details and the little things. And sometimes we get too caught up on needing to try to get that right and know how every single piece is going to come together and everything like that. And that's not really our concern. Our concern is setting that intention, doing everything that's in our control to be able to move forward. And I think it's a very important part of the process that I'm starting to learn about how to turn a vision into reality and how to create, your dream life and how to set it up. And so I think that that's a very interesting perspective that we had, and it was just a great conversation. I'm excited for you all to hear it. That's going to come out in a couple weeks. And so, yeah, it's this podcast has been super dope. We've recorded a couple episodes and I'm just enjoying the process of talking to people. And I think what it does is, and I brought this up in two of the episodes around the concept of you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. So as we're starting to go through life, all of us, right? And we're starting to, get to the next level and to build, and we go through life and we start accomplishing different goals and milestones. I think it's so natural for us as humans to look at the next thing and where we want to go versus how far we've been. And I think these conversations are really cool because from my perspective, you get to see people's journeys and how all of the dots kind of came together to where they are right now. And I think that that's something in all of our lives that we can relate to in terms of every single thing that we go through, whether it's challenging, good, bad, ups, downs, the people that we meet, the things that we go through in childhood, our experiences, our unique perspective, our skills, our resources, all shape us. And I feel like build us into what it is that we're going to eventually grow into. And I think it's just such an important part to keep that in perspective and to think about that and to always remember that whatever it is that you're going through right now is, if it's challenging, it's going to be something that's going to build the catalyst up and build the strengths up to get you to where you want to go. So you're ready for the things that actually is coming for you in life. There's different phases. Sometimes we want to rush the process. And sometimes we want to have things prematurely. And then looking back, you always look at it like, damn, if I would have got that back then, I wouldn't have known how to handle it, or I would have messed that up, or it would have messed me up, or whatever the case may be. And so just understanding and trusting the process and just being intentional with how you move and how you do things has been a big thing. And what I'm learning from, there's so many similarities to these people that I'm talking to and kind of getting to see it just shows that we all as people and humans like want the same things. And I feel like struggle with the same things, whether it's imposter syndrome, whether it's, confidence to, move in a direction, whatever the case may be. I think we have so many similarities. And when we really break it down, some people struggle with certain things more than others, but I think we all have this, like, this is part of the human experience, right? And what we go through. And I'm excited as this podcast grows and develops to explore that more I'm excited to get better as an interviewer and asking questions and having these conversations. I think it's been an interesting journey for me, because we're 27 episodes now that we have recorded. I think this is going to be number 25 or something like that. And we're saying how most podcasts stop after episode 20. And I think even in the beginning, I get this asked a lot now, like, what is your intentions with this podcast? What are you trying to do with it? And to be honest with you, like, I don't know. I'm all about organic growth. I'm all about letting things build naturally. Like, there's a component of business development and talking to people and companies that we want to work with that's in there. There's a element of like talking to dope people that just like inspire me and I just want to learn about their story. And then there's an element of being able to, just bring value to an audience and have a real authentic conversation around people's journeys, their life journey, their career journeys, how they got there, how they balance out, you know, um, life and work. I feel like there was a big shift that happened after 2020 where the world got more empathetic. Before COVID, like pre-COVID, it was a very doggy dog hustle grind, you know, um, all gas, no brakes world. And I feel like now we're entering into an interesting place where things are changing. Life is changing. Relationships with work is changing. Technology is changing. AI is getting ready to come and completely disrupt. It already has our whole entire way of life. And I feel like there's going to be some very damaging things that come from AI, but I feel like there's going to be some really incredible things that come from AI. And it's just going to transform how we operate and what life actually is and means. And I just think, yeah, going back to this podcast, I'm just so interested and excited to have these conversations and to have people share their experiences. Yes, we're going to get super famous people that, have done a million podcasts, and we're going to try to pull angles from that to be able to have it out. But I just want like to share and have everybody's story on here. People that you don't normally hear from that aren't on podcasts that are doing some amazing, inspiring work, that are doing some incredible stuff in the community, that have been able to accomplish certain things, that have been able to overcome challenges in their life. Like that is my goal. Like I'm thoroughly enjoying these conversations, and I'm committed to becoming better and trying to hone my skills. I think that these 27 episodes, I've learned a lot. I'm starting to feel way more comfortable on camera and being able to, kind of create content and do these episodes because, I took a break for so long from doing content, and it was so much in an execution mindset from work and not worrying about content and developing content and all this stuff. And I think coming back to it, it was a little bit, if you go back to episode 1, I talk about it, or episode 3 or something like that, and how I was nervous and talking about that. Like the process of repetition and the process of just showing up every day and not worrying about it being perfect is what is going to get you to where you need to go. If you're too caught up and I need to be perfect right now and right away, nothing is going to happen because nobody's ever perfect at stuff when they start. It's about that continuous every single day showing up. And I think that what I'm trying to learn and teach myself, because I kept beating myself up if I like fell off from doing something, being consistent and then falling off, and being consistent for a certain amount of months or whatever and falling off. And I'm just realizing that progression over perfection is what I'm searching for, because you'll never get to perfection, right? I think we all have. I actually seen this graphic where it's like it shows about the process of showing up every day. Like if you only have 30%, only give 30%. You gave it 100% for that day because you only had 30% to give. And I think sometimes we get caught up, especially with social media, especially with all this stuff. We feel like, oh, damn, all these people are executing. They're just, they're doing this, and that. And I feel like I'm being lazy, or, I'm in a down cycle right now, or I'm in a winter, season right now, and I just can't produce. But it's about progression versus perfection. And that is something that I'm really trying to embrace. I'm really trying to be easier on myself, because I'll beat myself up a lot of just, man, like, you have to be like, go, go, go. Like, what are you doing if you're slipping? I'm trying to give myself a little bit more grace. I'm trying to give myself a little bit more empathy, that it's like, okay, this is a process. This is a marathon. Success is a journey. It's not a destination. I want to do this forever, and it's not going to look like this. It's going to constantly be evolving and changing. And so, yeah, that's just something that I'm reflecting on, something that's on my mind around, again, that intentions, being intentional around stuff. And then also, progression versus the perfection, and making sure that you just show up every day. Show up every day. If you only got 10% to give 10%. If you only got 5%, 2%, whatever it is, just keep moving forward. Just keep showing up. Just keep showing up. It will eventually connect, and it will eventually come into place if you don't give up. It might change and it might look completely different, but that's okay. Life changes. Like, life looks completely different. So don't beat yourself up if it's not like exactly how you planned it. You can't plan every single detail, but you have to set your intentions of where you want to be, generally speaking, how you want to be, how you want your relationships to be, how you want your business to be, how you want your team to be, how you want your lifestyle to be. Like, those are the things that are important that you should focus on, of like, okay, this is what I want. I don't know exactly how it's going to all come together and all the dots are going to connect, but this is the overall structure and frame that I want to work within. Everything else will kind of come together as you start to move forward and start piecing all of these, taking all the pieces and putting them together. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. I'm really enjoying this podcast. If anybody that is listening would like to join the podcast, if you as an episode, if you have a cool story to share, if you want to recommend somebody to have on the show, we would love to hear it. You can go to doingeverythingdifferent.com. I think we have a contact page that you could fill out and set this up and be able to potentially get on the show. I want to take this time to shout out my team. They have been incredible. None of this stuff would have been, possible without the team, to be able to do all the post-production edits, to do all the captions, to make sure everything is all done, scheduling the meetings. So shout out to Britt, Vang, Sunshine, Mike, Riza, and Yell, Lauren. You guys have been killing it, and I'm very, very thankful for you all. And, a team is everything. You're only as good as your team. And so building a strong team around you is so, 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 so important. And this wouldn't be possible without them. So shout out to the squad. So hope you guys are doing well. I will see you guys next week. Peace.